May is one of those months in the garden that just feels generous. Everything is pushing up from the ground, soft and flexible and full of energy. And that makes it the perfect time to take cuttings from perennials. Start with Salvia. There's already lush new growth to work with, real volume to choose from, and that's the thing, you want to choose carefully. Look for stems without buds forming, if you can avoid it. Strong, clean growth. Nothing leggy, nothing with that yellowing tiredness that tells you the plant is already moving on. Run your eye down the stem and cut just beneath a leaf joint. That spot, that's where the roots are going to come from eventually. It matters. Once you've taken the cuttings, move quickly. Cloud cover is genuinely ideal for this. On a bright day, those cuttings start losing moisture fast and they don't have the roots yet to replace it. Drop them into a plastic bag or a jar of water while you work. It's a small thing, it makes a real difference. For the mix, roughly half compost, half wood fibre. That combination keeps the developing roots from being packed in too tight. Fill the pot right to the top without pressing it down because it'll settle on its own once watered. Drainage hole, that's non-negotiable. With each cutting, strip the lower leaves, either by hand or scissors, doesn't really matter. Here's the thing, without any roots yet, the plant has no way to pull moisture from the soil. Every leaf left on is losing water the cutting simply cannot afford to lose. Stripping that lower foliage also shifts whatever energy remains in the stem toward making roots rather than maintaining leaves. Place the cuttings around the edge of the pot, not the centre. When roots develop, that spacing lets you pull them apart without wrecking everything. Label each pot, name, date. Most perennial cuttings root somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, with 6 to 8 being about right for the majority. When the surface looks dry, water lightly. Overwatering at this stage is, and I mean this, the most common mistake. After potting, keep everything out of direct sunlight. Greenhouse, windowsill, away from the sun, whatever you've got. No greenhouse? A plastic bag over the pot with a small hole cut in the top. Creates a humid little pocket that cuttings genuinely love. Just take it off periodically so things don't start moulding. Sedum is almost embarrassingly easy. It roots readily in compost and will even take in a jar of water. If cuttings are new territory for you, start here. Cut just beneath a set of leaves, remove the bottom foliage, take off any flower heads forming. The goal right now is roots, not flowers. And place around the edge of the pot. Even with something this forgiving, take more than one cutting per pot. That's just nature being honest. Iris growing along a border propagates just as well this way. Find the stem, go all the way down to just beneath a set of leaves. Most will have flowers forming now, but those come off before potting. Look at the lower part of the stem, the part going underground, and look closely. Those little bumps where the leaves were attached, that's exactly where the new roots will push through. Most people walk past a garden like this and think, I could never afford that. And look, some of that is real, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of it is cuttings taken in May for free from plants you already have. That's what this channel is about. Practical knowledge that actually saves you money in the garden season after season. Hit subscribe right now, please. The low-growing wallflower is a special case because it spreads like a carpet along the ground. The usable growth is right down near the base. Nothing to do with those tall flower stems reaching upward. Go in underneath the foliage, find the low leafy runners spreading sideways, and take your cuttings from those. The tall stem has nothing to offer here. Going in low is the only move. Catmint roots easily and is worth having in real abundance. Insects love it. It flowers for a long stretch of the season, and propagating it couldn't be simpler. Cut beneath a set of leaves, remove the lower foliage, pot along the edge, label it, water it, done. Some perennials don't even need a stem cutting. They can be propagated right from the base. Aloe sends out little offshoots as it spreads, and those can simply be broken away from the mother plant, no root system needed, just a small clump of growth pressed into the pot with good soil contact, and it takes hold. Lupins work the same way. A basal cutting taken right where the stem meets the ground, potted, kept watered, left in the greenhouse, rooted plant within 4 to 6 weeks. Later in summer, when the side shoots have developed a small hardened nub at the base, those can be taken, potted up slowly over winter, and be ready by spring. You see what's happening there? The plant is doing most of the work. You're just paying attention. Veronica has quite long stems, so go well down beneath a good set of leaves before cutting. Remove the lower foliage, leave just the top growth, and if any flower is beginning to form at the tip, that comes off. This one can sprawl a bit, so take a few extra cuttings, just in case. Lavender. I mean, who doesn't want more lavender? The thing to watch, and this applies equally to rosemary since the two go about propagation in exactly the same way, is to only ever take cuttings from the soft, flexible green growth at the tips. Never cut back into the hard, woody part further down the stem. That part will not come back from a cutting. Stick to the green new growth, strip the lower foliage, pot around the edge. Between lavender and rosemary alone, you can build a genuinely fragrant garden fast for absolutely nothing. Black lace elderflower takes very well from cuttings. Look for newer shoots without flowers, still fresh and actively growing. Cut beneath a set of leaves, clean up the lower foliage, pot along the edge, and elderflower cuttings can also be taken in winter when the plant is dormant, which is quietly useful when the growing season feels too packed to get everything done. Hydrangeas are expensive to buy, shockingly easy to propagate. Look for the bendy, wiggly green stems. Those are the ones full of energy. And avoid anything already gone woody. Cut beneath a set of leaves, remove most of the foliage, make sure there's no flower head developing on the cutting, and pot it around the edge. Keep things humid, greenhouse or plastic bag with a small air hole, and just wait. They root reliably, pretty quickly actually. Sweet Williams. Biennials that, when trimmed back after flowering, often come back for another season. Take cuttings from stems with 4 to 5 sets of leaves, remove the lower foliage, cut away any flower forming at the tip, and pot them in. Worth having more of, just for the bees alone. So many gardens started exactly this way, a cutting taken from a neighbour, a plant passed over a fence, seeds saved from last summer and quietly forgotten about until March. The garden doesn't have to cost what the nursery asks. It just takes a pot, some soil, a sharp pair of scissors, and a little patience. That's it. That's genuinely all it is.